Hey guys, welcome to the channel. It's Mo again. So we're just here to talk about now how do you research the price of the car? As what you don't want is to be so ridiculous that you make the process difficult, right? You know, the car doesn't cost the dealer zero, right? There is a cost involved, and between the cost and hopefully the retail price, there is a profit margin, and that's what they're trying to achieve, right? Every business that exists in time, that's how they make money. So whether you're at the grocery store or the restaurant, there's a cost, there's a selling price, and there is a profit in between the two. Okay. Um, Profits are not what I think some people think they are. You know, I think people think that dealers just make gobs and gobs of cash on cars. And let me tell you the reality. Whether you believe it or not, this is a fact. There are cars we make money on, there are cars we don't make money on. Okay, and there are different factors. There are cars that are not popular, the colors is not right, the equipment is not right. Those cars, you end up giving them away to just move the inventory. And the thing is, you can't reject that stuff as a dealer from the factory, right? They require you to take everything, right? And if you want to be in good standing with the manufacturer, you are unfortunately are obligated to take the things that they offer. Um, so we get stuck with stuff that is, you know, we'd love to sell the hottest and the best of everything, just doesn't exist. We as a dealership, we have to accept what the manufacturer offers, right? So regardless of what anybody thinks out there, and one of the things I try to avoid is saying to customers, "Oh, we're losing money on this." It don't matter what you tell them; they don't believe you. Even when I say that it's true, I realize people don't believe it. Makes no difference. Even when I show them document wise, and I never use that terminology. I never say, "Look, we're losing X amount of money." I'm just saying, "This is what it costs. This is what we're selling the car for." You can see what the difference is, right? I don't get into the whole lose thing. But the reality of it is, dealers do lose money on certain cars, and they make money on certain cars. So that's just the reality of it. Now, if we have a car that's super hot, that's super popular, there's a big demand for the car, yeah, we're gonna make money on the car, right? But it all evens out as far as the what you make money on and what you lose money on. You know, it should even out for any well-run dealership. They should have their parameters, right? It's like this is the least or this is the most we're gonna lose on any particular vehicle, and as long as we can keep the ones that are profitable at a certain range, then it all works out in the end. And the other part too is dealerships don't only make money on car sales. That's what a lot of people focus on the sale itself because they think, well, not they think. The reality of it is cars are very expensive, right? So they think, ooh, these guys are making all this money. But the reality of it is, and historically, dealerships have never made the majority of their money in terms of profit on cars. They make more money on service, right? In terms of percentage of profit and in a lot of cases in terms of the dollars in profit. And service is a much more reliable source of income because people are very consistent for the most part, getting their oil changed, getting their tires rotated, getting things fixed. There's warranty work, but dealerships survive on a number of revenue streams. So whether it's car sales, whether it is bonuses from the factory, whether it's products that are sold in terms of warranties or insurances, uh, accessories. Um, they also make money from the service department, from just regular service, from repairs, from warranty work. They also make money from the parts department. Some places have body shops. So I mean, some places do rental cars. There is a myriad of ways that money comes into the dealership. So it is not just solely driven by the sales alone. So any dealer that has some sort of boundary set up for their management, it's with all of that in consideration. So hey, move the car, odds are we're going to get service work, so we can make up some of the loss that way, and so on and so on, right? So anyway, very long introduction. Didn't mean to get into it for that long. So let's talk about the research of the price. So I'm going to just talk about two very solid sources that you can get information from in terms of pricing. Number one, I mentioned last week, is Edmunds.com. So in Edmunds, you can go in, and if you can describe the vehicle in terms of make, model, trim level, and any additional accessories you may want on the car. For example, road mats, excuse me, rubber mats in the cars, or I know, phone charging, wireless phone charging, whatever little options that you want to add that may not be standard on the vehicle. You can actually figure out from there. They give you a very good number relating to what is invoice and what is MSRP. So, and the difference is profit, right? And yes, there is a little bit of money that they call holdback that dealers get, but it's a super small percentage. So it's let me think. The number is like 2% or something like that of the cost of the vehicle. So I mean, it amounts to a few $100s. But of course, depending on the size of your dealership, you're selling so many hundreds of cars, a couple $100, a few $100 per car adds up quite a bit. So anyway, the point is, so you have an idea of what cost is and what MSRP is. Any dealership is reasonable enough to sell the car somewhere between what the cost is and what MSRP is. Sometimes, like I said, they will go at cost or invoice, still making a little bit of what they call the holdback. And some will even go into the holdback and take it all out because the car is not a popular car, it's not moving well. That doesn't relate to you and your desire, because if you like a car, you like a car. If it works for you, it works for you. If it's a good quality car, it's a good quality car. I'll just give you an example. In our world, as I sell Subarus, Subaru SUVs sell very, very well. That's what the brand is known for, and a lot of Subaru owners tend to be very active people. They're hikers, they're campers, they're outdoorsy, they ski, they bike, they all kinds of stuff. So they want SUVs so they can go sometimes slightly off the beaten path, and so on. And so SUVs do very well. Sedans, which is just basically mostly family oriented, just going back and forth to commute and so forth, not so well. So sedans will be priced, we'll discount them pretty heavily to get the sedans out the door because they don't move as well. Whereas, we don't have to do that on the SUVs. And especially within the SUVs, there are certain levels that do well and certain levels that don't do well, and so on and so forth. But the point is, for the most part, if it's somewhere between invoice and MSRP, a dealership is more than likely willing to accept some sort of offer along those lines. But the thing is, what you have to do is work out your budget, and I'm going to go into how you can figure your payments on cars and stuff like if you're financing. You should be able to offer something that is a win-win, right? Where you're satisfied, the dealership is satisfied, the process is easier. It doesn't need to be hours and hours long. So source number one I talked about was Edmunds, and I think I just went off rambling a bit, but source number one is Edmunds, and you can always look up the stuff there, right? Source number two is not quite a research thing, but we do this, and I find it to be just a really simple way for people to buy cars, is using something like a Costco buying program. So for example, we are a Costco dealer. So you go to Costco, you tell them what you're looking for. They will send you to a dealership that has an agreement with them to sell cars at these pretty large discounts, right? And again, dealers use this stuff to help volume model to get to their number so they can get money back from the manufacturer. But the Costco program typically is at or below invoice. I mean, it's pretty strong program, and it's just very, very straightforward. We have our part that we have to do as a signed dealer agreement with Costco. And so that is one good way. Now, be careful about the Costco thing. Don't go into a dealership and asking them, "Oh, are you Costco?" The answer is always going to be yes, and that's not true, right? Because Costco's programs are very specific, and it's limited. What they try to do is just do a dealer in a specific geographic area, so there's no competing dealers of that brand, um, which makes their program more valuable to the dealer, and also makes it much more of an exclusive deal for the client, for the member, the Costco member. So you walk into a dealership and say, "Hey, you guys do Costco?" "Oh, yeah, we do Costco," but it's yeah, they'll do some kind of discount, but it's not a real deal. It's not the thing, right? So just be careful about that. But if you want to save a lot of headaches, you go through your Costco store. They will direct you to the dealership. They will send your name and contact information to whoever the Costco reps are in that particular dealership, and you will have they will have your information. You'll have their information. Basically, you guys get together. Process is so simple. You could save yourself tons of time and effort. And if you're not the kind that wants to do the whole back and forth negotiation, that's a real good thing to do. So those are my two things that I recommend for getting good pricing on a vehicle. And again, it's all about fair pricing, right? We're not trying to get cars at 50% off. I mean, it really does not exist. I don't care who is telling you whatever. I've been in this business for over 30 years, and never in my thousands of transactions have I ever seen a car sold at 50% off. A brand new car. Just, I mean, dealers would not be in business very long at that kind of a discount, because you're talking about you're paying to sell something. It just doesn't make sense. So anyway, that's my little rant for today, and I went on a way longer than I normally do, but hopefully this thing is helpful to you, and we'll see you next time when we discuss. Let me see what we're going to discuss. I have my little notes right here. So we're going to talk about how to figure payments, and in the next one, right? So stay tuned. Hopefully you find this information helpful, and see you later. Peace out, bro.